What's up guys, today I'm showing you the Jumper T-Pro, the Express LRS version. This one has just started to come out, and I know this is probably not going to be the most popular radio because it has some shortcomings, you know, like these weird switches and whatever. But I'm going to show you what it was like for me. So I ordered this the night before the Zorro came out, and at that time this one was the best option to get. 1 watt internal module, and 1 watt is actually overkill. I'm really thinking that's overkill, but it's nice to have it for certain situations maybe. But yeah, I ended up getting this, and I'm going to show you what it was like to set this guy up. So it came with a few I guess major faults that made it not work, and it was kind of a headache. And this manual that they have here is basically the manual for the 4-in-1 module that has all of the other protocols that we're not using. We only care about Express LRS in this one. That's what I wanted. So today I'm going to go really quick and show you what I had to go through to get this guy working. It took me quite a while, so you know, just a big quick backstory. This was my daily driver for a long time now. I love this guy. Has the external module, the Happy Model external module, and it's been rock solid. I have had no problems with this. So I know that everybody hates this now because there's this thing that they didn't connect the pins inside, so you can't do a pass through flash in case it breaks. You have to open it, you have to hold on a boot button, or you have to do an FTDI adapter thing by opening it, and you know, that sucks, I know. But guys, I've never had a flash fail on my jumper. I've never had a flash fail in any of my Express LRS gear, and you know, I know it can happen. It's, you know, not that I was lucky, maybe I was, but you know, I do take a few steps to make sure that the flash works well. So I'm going to show you what I did really quick, because I did a video before and it was super long. So let's get to it. So first thing, this radio doesn't come with batteries. You have to have two 18650 batteries that you put in the back, and once you do that, you power it on, and lo and behold, you have Edge TX. That's really good, because if I didn't have Edge TX on this, I'd be putting it on it. I have put Edge TX on this guy, and I love Edge TX. It's being developed a lot more. So there you go, guys. Right off the bat, if you try, well, the way mine came, this might change, and I mean, it should change, but I feel like they rushed these out because of the competition, and I just got, this is how they're coming right now. So if you're watching this in the future, this is probably irrelevant. But mine, when I tried to go and do the first of all, the Express LRS lure is not on this radio. You only have TBS Agent Lite, which basically does the same thing. But when I went to TBS Agent Lite first, it wouldn't connect. It gave me an error, and yeah, even when I tried the lure script, that also gave an error. And that was because for some reason or the other, they thought that it was a good idea to not put, let's go to the model menu here. Oops, sorry. They thought it was a good idea to not put to not set up the model right. So what I did, I had to go into the model menu. Of course, you press this to go into the page. So right here, guys, where it says external RF, that one was turned on. This was the one set to crossfire, and that was wrong. So turn that one off. Set the internal mode to crossfire. That's the #1 thing. Without that, script's not going to work. You're going to think your radio is broken. You're going to curse whoever you got this radio from and tell them that they sent you a broken radio, which is not the case. That's step 1. Step 2, I tried to just copy my ELRS model from over here. I saved it as a backup and then just put it on this SD card and then reloaded it. And I thought, oh, that's it. It's going to work. I just need to probably reconfigure my switches after that. But that didn't work. I had to scrap using that and go back to the original model here. For some reason, there's some kind of disparity between that, and I couldn't get the switches to work at all. There was something messing up there. So go back to that model, and then you go into the switch setup, and we have to now figure out how we're going to get this to ARM. So, you know, there's something that OpenTX always had that was really annoying. Whenever you're setting up a model, it's always set up where the, you know, the controls work from channels 1 to 4, you know, 4 channels for each of these. And then 5, 6, 7, 8 should be the switches. Like 5, 6, 7, 8 is usually how I have it. 5 would be a 2 position, 6 is 3, 7 is 3, and 8 is the 2 position. And this is set as a momentary switch. This is one of the things that I hate about this radio, and people actually hate. So what we need to do is go into this model and set up our switches. And maybe you know how to do this, maybe you don't, but let me show you real quick how I did it. So guys, Albert Kim had a video on how to do, a few people, Joshua Bardwell also had a video of how to set up the 2 switches where you can press them both, and that will cause it to arm, which is actually the safest way to do this. The way I'm going to show you now is just the I want to get this radio flying and feel it, you know, way of doing it instead of doing anything. You can also use these buttons here to trigger the arming, you know, one arm, one disarm. You can do that if you want, but that's kind of annoying to have to hold it and stretch all the way over there. So for me, I set this up by just doing it one press on, one press off, and it's set up like the tango basically, where you would press one on, press one off. I don't know why this isn't set up this way to begin with. It just really boggles the mind that they would actually do that. So anyway, and then this one was always my return to home because I have a lot of GPS quads, and you know, I use all the switches, so I just wanted to do it that way. First thing you have to do is set up a logical switch, and the easiest way that I found to do this was here. So you go into this hold on a second. Guys, to make this really short, just look at this, what I did here, right? So the function is sticky. V1 is SD with the arrow down, V2 is SD with the arrow down, and the AND switch is SD with the arrow up. So if you don't know how to get the arrows down and up, you can scroll through it, or you can just press the button here. It will, if you have it, if you highlight it, I don't want to do it because I'm going to mess this up. It was really annoying to get it, but if you highlight it and you press the button, it will just switch to SC, and if you press it again, it will go up or down. So just make sure that that's 2 down and then SD up. That's how it works as a on-off switch. So you can actually see it activating. See when it's on bold, that's on, and then that's off. So one press on, one press off. That's the most simplest way. If you wanted to set it up with the 2 of them, I don't remember how it is, but I think you have to put the second one as the other switch over here. I don't remember if that's how he did it, but you can look for Joshua Badwell or Albert Kim's video on how they did these switches. That's how I did it, just to get this working. So after you create that logical switch, it's a logical switch 1, which then is this one. So channel 5 is this one, on off. You can see it activating there, on off. Then channel 6 is this one over here, a 3-position switch. So what I had to do, guys, is when I went into here, by default when I switched this, it was the other way around. Like it was like, you know, this was the high position and this was the low. So I had to go in there and put it to -100 to swap it around to match what I already had in Betaflight. That was basically it. And yeah, just do that for the rest of the switches, and there you go. So now you have your model set up. So you want to bind your drone. What do you do? So you go into we want to hold this down, go into the Express LRS wizard. You could also do this through the TBS Agent Lite, but I just, you know, used to the Lua for Express LRS. So we go into the Express LRS Lua here, and we look for Wi-Fi connectivity. Here we go, and you just enable Wi-Fi and enter. So there we go, and from there you will see the network come up on your computer. So this was the one I use, Jumper Aeon T-Pro 2400 TX. It comes with this DIY version on it, and when you flash this file, it's going to say there's a mismatch, at least if you flash it the way I did it. So you could actually flash this through this configurator once you connect the Wi-Fi to the network of the Express LRS, which would be this one. You can connect to it, and then this, you don't have to open the web. Oh boy, okay, so I did connect to it. That's what happens. But if you you can hit where is it, Wi-Fi, and you can just build and flash, and it should just do it. But I didn't do it that way. I did it build, and then I saved the file. But remember, the file is, this is what's not documented. They don't have this documented anywhere. The file is this one, and you can put whatever you want here. I put my binding phrase, that's the most important thing. Then you build, then you open the web page, and then you flash it, and voila, it should work. And that's the problem, guys. If you mess up that flash, that's when the whole module gets messed up here, and then you have to go in there and, you know, attach wires or hold the boot button or whatever to get this back to normal. I have never had a flash mess up, and what I do is after it flashes, I wait. I don't turn it off right away. I wait just a little bit, maybe a minute, just to make sure everything is settled, and then it just works. So I know it can happen. Anything can happen while it's doing the Wi-Fi update. You can have interference somewhere and it will brick it, but that's it, and it worked for me. So that's the way I did it. So guys, finally my thoughts. I haven't flown this very often, and I don't feel like I'm at a point where I can actually make a choice if I want to actually like use this as my daily driver. That's the plan. The whole idea was to get rid of the bulky thing in the back, and the fact that I have to keep screwing off this antenna. You know, it's a pain. I love this radio very much, guys. I have not had an issue. People have you know, been saying that the buttons gave them trouble and something went wrong, but this radio has been rock solid. I had no issues with this whatsoever. And I feel like I was very close to taking this model apart and this module apart and putting the PCB inside of the radio somehow. But then I thought it's not going to get any air because it does kind of get hot when you run it at a higher power. And, you know, this just is more streamlined. I've always wanted a radio with just built in because, yeah, I don't need a multi-protocol module. I really don't. Everything I fly is Express LRS, and that's what I'm going to be using from now on. It fulfills all my needs for range and everything else. Guys, a 1 watt module for Express LRS is overkill. Just so you know that it really is extreme overkill. Do you know how far you can get on 10 milliwatts of this? I've tried it. It goes really far. And of course, for certain environments where it's noisy, there's Wi-Fi and there's, you know, things in the way, you want to go into a bando, you know, I mean, your video is going to break up before you even use, like, probably the 250 milliwatts that this module had was more than enough. I've flown way out on this and I've never had a single fail-safe, and I just feel like 1 watt is overkill. But that's it. At least it's there. And, you know, whenever I do build a giant airplane that can fly to the moon, I guess this can take me there. So that's it, guys. And I would like to say also, yes, the stick feel, very important. So this guy has a nice, smooth, really light stick feel. The springs do not push back on your finger very much, and it makes me fly very smooth. That's me. I like it. I guess if you're racing, you want to feel that clicking of the sticks so you know where the sticks are. But for really smooth flying, I like to, you know, have it really smooth so that middle point doesn't just click and you just see like the flying is like this, you know. This one has a little bit more tension than this. Now I moved from the X-Lite, the original X-Lite that had no adjustable gimbals. Those springs were super tight, and when I moved back to this, I was smooth again. Like I had the original jumper that came out, the one that was just like a brick, and it was, you know, had really crappy gimbals. That was my first radio. Well, not the first radio, but that's the one that I learned to fly really good, and I was really smooth, and I never felt that smoothness on the X-Lite until I went back to this jumper. And I still feel like this is just so, you know, we are humans and we are just used to the way things feel. So you have to know that when you change your goggles, when you change anything, your muscle memory, everything is going to feel off and you might not like it, but it takes time. So I'm going to take time with this radio and see what it's like. Then I will update my review in the future. But any of you guys that end up getting this radio and now you probably regret it, I don't think you should regret it. I think it's a good radio. I think that, you know, it's going to work for the most part. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know, I just wish that they just had a proper switch on this, but I kind of like these switches because, like, you know, I already broke the switch on this one by just falling. It fell off the table. It just, you know, the middle position doesn't work very well, and that's why it's nicer to have switches, you know. I always wanted the Tango 2. This is the closest to the Tango 2. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this because any device I had with this rolling wheel, sometimes, you know, you flick it once and it will go like 3 times or not at all, and then you do this and it goes 10 times. I hope that doesn't happen to this, but, you know, maybe, yeah, it will be fine. That's it, guys. I will update a review as time goes by. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry this is a bit longer than I wanted. I tried to do this many times because there's so much to say, but, you know, not enough time. So happy flying. I'll speak to you soon.